The SEC's pivotal path to approving the first U.S. Bitcoin ETF. Cryptocurrency investors have eagerly awaited a Bitcoin ETF for years, hoping it will open the floodgates to mainstream adoption. 2022 saw major developments as the SEC's conversations with providers advanced, signaling its willingness to address long-standing concerns. Now recent reports indicate terms are being hammered out on issues usually reserved for late in the process, hinting approvals may be imminent. If realized, this would fundamentally alter the game, unleashing trillions in institutional capital. To understand the potential significance, we'll outline the ETF proposal process, explore regulatory hurdles faced, and gain insight from key stakeholders. We'll also analyze factors suggesting a paradigm shift may be upon us as 2023 looms large. By shedding light on this watershed moment, our aim is to empower all with invaluable context on cryptocurrency's next chapter. So let's dive into ongoing discussions and what they may portend for Bitcoin's landmark journey to legitimacy. Discussions between the U.S. securities regulator and asset managers hoping to list Bitcoin exchange-traded funds (ETFs) have advanced to key technical details, and a sign the agency may soon approve the products, industry executives said. 13 firms including Grayscale Investments, BlackRock, BLK.N, Invesco, and ARK Investments have pending applications with the Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) for ETFs that track the price of Bitcoin. Proponents argue that a regulated product, like an ETF, tied to the spot price of the cryptocurrency, offers investors the best way to invest in Bitcoin. But the agency has long rejected such products, arguing they fail to meet its bar for investor protections. But after a court in August ruled the SEC was wrong to reject Grayscale's application to convert its Bitcoin trust into an ETF, the SEC has been engaging with issuers on substantive details, some of which are usually discussed near the end of an ETF application process, according to half a dozen industry executives and SEC public memos. Proponents argue that a regulated product, like an ETF, tied to the spot price of the cryptocurrency, offers investors the best way to invest in Bitcoin. But the agency has long rejected such products, arguing they fail to meet its bar for investor protections. But after a court in August ruled the SEC was wrong to reject Grayscale's application to convert its Bitcoin trust into an ETF, the SEC has been engaging with issuers on substantive details, some of which are usually discussed near the end of an ETF application process, according to half a dozen industry executives and SEC public memos. The SEC has long worried, however, that Bitcoin is vulnerable to manipulation. Previously, discussions focused on that concern and were mostly educational, the people said. The SEC has until January 10 to make a final decision on ARK's filing, which is first in line. The advanced nature of the discussion signals the SEC may approve ARK's application and likely some of the other 12 applications in the new year, the people said. The advanced talks help explain a recent rally in Bitcoin, the price of which reached a 20-month high this month. ARK CEO Cathie Wood told Yahoo Finance last month that the nature of the SEC discussions had changed and the odds of several applications being approved had gone up. "My guess is that we'll have several ETFs approved at once, which will give investors the best opportunity to compare them," said Brian Armour, ETF analyst at Morningstar. Memos made public by the SEC show that executives from BlackRock, Grayscale, Invesco, and 21 Shares, which is working with ARK, have met with SEC staff since September, together with their lawyers and executives from the exchanges where they hope to list the ETF. Other managers also told Reuters they met with SEC staff in that time. The BlackRock meeting memo includes a detailed description of the asset manager's revised redemptions mechanism. BlackRock did not return requests for comment. Invesco declined to comment. Grayscale continues to engage constructively with the SEC, a spokesperson said. While past meetings have mostly been with staff from the SEC's trading and markets and corporate finance divisions, some recent meetings have been with staff in Chair Gary Gensler's office, according to the memos and sources. The pace of SEC information requests has also accelerated from every few months to every week or so, the People said. As discussions have advanced, issuers have had to update their filings to reflect the new details, one person said. This week, for example, BlackRock amended its filing to provide more insight into measures it plans to take to protect investors. Cryptic. To be sure, the SEC has not said publicly or indicated to people interviewed by Reuters whether it will approve the products. There also remain sticking points, chiefly whether issuers will create a cash or an in-kind settlement mechanism, the People said. An SEC spokesperson said the agency would not comment on individual filings. Gensler, a crypto skeptic who has accused the industry of flouting SEC rules, said in October the agency's commissioners will potentially consider the ETF filings, but he did not indicate when. The SEC began engaging meaningfully with issuers soon after a federal appeals court ruled that the agency failed to justify why it rejected Grayscale's ETF application. The SEC did not appeal and must now review Grayscale's filing. Some sources believe the wording of the Grayscale ruling limits the grounds on which the SEC could again reject the filings. And many issuers feel they have addressed the SEC's market manipulation concerns with a surveillance arrangement between the listing exchanges and Coinbase, Coin.io, the largest U.S. cryptocurrency exchange. If the SEC wants to buy more time, it could ask ARK to withdraw its application and refile, but market participants said that could be legally risky in light of the Grayscale decision. I don't think much will stop it from moving forward, said Roxana Islam, head of sector and industry research at data firm Verify. In summary, the SEC's progression with meticulous scrutiny sends a clear message after years denying what the market demands. Openness to a Bitcoin ETF is evolving. While approval is not guaranteed, detailed negotiations indicate robust due diligence rather than dismissal is now the approach. If the historic waiting game finally ends in the new year through regulated on-ramps, impacts will reverberate globally. With trillions on the cusp of potentially flowing in, Bitcoin may achieve escape velocity to new heights. For enthusiasts and investors alike, gaining an insider view of the regulatory gauntlet run lays a foundation for comprehending this landmark transitional period. The future remains uncertain, but one thing is clear: a new phase is unfolding.